r/AskReddit. What is your "we never speak of this again" story? I was on a road trip with a buddy. We were heading to a 3-day music fest in Tennessee. We drove through the night and were making good time. He was driving and asked me to take the wheel for a second. I did. He grabbed a Gatorade bottle, unzipped, and started pissing in the bottle. I was a bit uncomfortable with my hand 6 inches above his exposed peen. But we were going 75 miles per hour and his foot was on the gas. We had more pressing concerns. Is my point. He finishes up and in one swift motion rolls down the window and lifts the Gatorade bottle toward the window to dump it. Wait, what do? Imagine a full bottle of warm piss filling up the entire interior of a car like a fine aerosol spray in a split second. That's what 75 miles per hour wind blowing inward does to a bottle of liquid trying to go outward. I learned that the hard way. Of course it got in my mouth. But that wasn't the worst of it. It was clogging my ears, like I had been swimming. It was stinging my eyes. It went so far up my nose that I sneezed it out. Twice. We looked at each other. Dripping piss. All I could say was damn it. God damn it, dude. He turned on the AC after a time. Piss droplets blew out onto us. It was dripping on us from the ceiling of the car. We rode for a long time in silence. Do you know what a person and the interior of a car covered in piss smell like after being in 103-degree heat for 3 days and no means to wash up? I do. Edit. Now strangers are showering me with gold. Thanks. Bonnaroo. Indeed. So I'm in high school and got trashed at a party. Somehow I made it home. In the middle of the night I drunkenly wander into my parents' bedroom, sit on my dad's hamper, and take a good long piss. My dad woke up in the middle of it and pushed me back into my room. I wake up in the morning and go to the living room and see dad. He starts cracking up and told me what happened. Said we won't tell anyone and to go upstairs and clean out his hamper. Ended up having to buy him a new hamper. My mom never said anything about it, so I have no idea if she knew. My dad passed away about 10 years ago. Since that time my mom told me a story about my dad getting drunk one night shortly after they were married, and she woke up in the middle of the night to see him peeing in his hamper. Apparently, I'm totally my father's daughter and have still never told anyone about it. I feel like you should tell her. I almost did. I just didn't know how she would handle knowing that both her husband and daughter have issues with alcohol and hampers. Thanks for the gold. Warning. Graphic story. Years ago my girlfriend and I snuck off to a bathroom to duck after everyone passed out at a house party. We were young. She was fun. And she wanted it in her butt. You got it, champ. I was sitting on the closed toilet and she was basically doing the stand-up reverse cowgirl thing. Felt great. At some point one of our drunk friends woke up to piss and came bursting into the bathroom. She jumps up and shock causing an extremely fast and unexpected pull-out. Poop everywhere. The next morning the same drunk friend comes stumbling out of the bathroom after having passed out from his drunken midnight piss. Guys, I got really drunk last night and I think I might have hid on the floor in the bathroom. Damn right you did. Apology accepted. Go clean that up. That drunk friend should be ashamed of himself. Dirty bastard. This was over a decade ago. That man is now married and is a parent. He has a government security clearance. He still thinks he did the poop. My plan is to tell the real story on his child's 21st birthday party. Walked in on a close family member wanking in the living room. They saw that I saw. Immediately left to deal with something else. Came back and asked how their day had been. They said good thanks. How's your day going? Good thanks. That's good. That's real good. Yup, man I sure am thirsty. Smacks lips yup. Not so much we never spoke of it again. But I've never spoken of it. In college. Skipped the day to play some Cody. Got bored and decided to take matters into my own hands. My dorm room was on top floor, 4th, and the window blinds were open. As I was furiously taking out my frustrations, a window washer came up to the window on a suspended scaffold. We locked eyes for a second, and he left my window unwashed and slowly went back down. Steve, bring it down. Why? Just bring it down, goddammit. Oh god. When I was 9 I had a friend. Donna. Donna was a little more mature than I was. She brought up X. The only thing I knew about X was that it was bad because of an abstinence only billboard that was up by my grandma's house. Guess what part of America I live in? I told her that it was bad. And she said it's how you make babies. Stupid. So naturally she proposes we have X. We were in our underwear and t-shirts. She leaned in to kiss me and I pulled away. Nothing of any XL nature happened, but she said that was it. We had X. So I feared for weeks I was pregnant. And woke up in the middle of night sobbing to my mom that I was pregnant and I had X with Donna. She explained that's not how any of that worked. My mom and I have never mentioned it again in the past 11 years since. Edit. As of 56 minutes ago, Central Time, I turned 20. I'll count this popular comment as a part of my birthday. Thank you for all the votes. Edit 2. Holy hell. I had no idea this stupid moment of my childhood would be so popular. Thank you everyone. And a special thank you for the gold. Holy hit. Pretty much the exact same thing happened to me. I was around that age. Too. And I remember one day I was so freaked out about the fact that I could get a disease or get the poor innocent girl pregnant. I cried to my dad about how I had X. And he just kind of asked me what exactly happened and he told me to stop worrying. And I've a lot to learn about still. We didn't have X. Never even mentioned it once or talked about it since. But damn, even thinking back at that it feels embarrassing and awkward lol. Donna? Roommates told me to text him when I got home so we could smoke a cigarette. I thought that's ducking dumb. He'll be able to clearly hear me coming home. So I knocked on his bedroom door and waltzed in. Only to see him taking a peen pick or wanking. I'm still not sure which. He jolted up and said something along the lines of whoa hey, and I just said UHH hi, and then we went outside and smoked a cigarette. Whoa hey. Deg. Deg. Better than no hit. I'm sorry, we all know what that leads to. I was drinking vodka. And I had this guy pal that I was trying to bang, but he refused to bang a runk girl while he was sober. I grabbed my phone and started looking for some action. No such luck. I eventually passed out and went to sleep. When I woke up the next morning, I read the texts I'd sent in absolute horror. Me, what are you doing? G, getting ready for bed. You? Me, runk. Topless. And looking for some fun. G, lol. Good luck. I'm going to bed. G, happened to my boss who just started a few weeks ago. At the time Facebook would merge your friend's contact info into your address book. I never spoke of it again. And had a difficult time looking him in the eye. Boss seems like he/she took it well though. Cold gone worse. Probably read the runk part and understood what was said afterwards, was not in any clear state of mind. Great boss for knowing your workers are humans. Growing up, we were poor. And as a teen I didn't really have access to porn or whatnot. But I was quite a writer. So I would write exotic fiction as a release in a spiral. Well, one day after writing a particularly sordid story, I kinda came to and realized I shouldn't leave that stuff around. I went to the kitchen, intending to throw the spiral away, set it down, got a drink. The phone rang. I answered and left the spiral in the kitchen. Forgotten. An hour later my mother comes to me with the spiral and questions. I won't get into it, but she described how a lot of my stories wouldn't really ever happen and were a bit extreme. She threw it away and it never came back up. I hit puberty about the same time I got decent at drawing. After I got home from my first year of college my parents unceremoniously dropped a box of spiral notebooks on my bed. No words were exchanged, but I could tell they had looked. The notebooks were burned. I burnt the notebooks the first night my parents left me alone in the house. We've never spoken of it since. Nowadays you'd have a bustling Patreon career. Here's a recent. My buddies and I actually voiced the phrase "we can never tell this story" in the truck afterwards. Road trip with two buddies. Cal and Joel. Driving home. Late at night. We're in the mindset that we are tired of sitting in the truck and ready to be home. So we drove through the night to get the miles behind us. Finally, about 3 AM we pull off the highway onto a forest road and drive until we see a spot to camp. Decent grassy clearing. Looks like someone has had the same idea here before. We pile out and grab our tents and start setting up. Joel is tired and quiet. Cal has the inhuman ability of speaking in a continuous run-on sentence for hours. Doesn't matter what time. Wake him up at 4 AM and from a dead sleep he'll start telling you a story before his feet hit the ground. He's funny too, so it keeps the road trip interesting. Setting up camp. Cal is deep in a half story, half rhetorical essay when he stops. Cold. I look over his way, shining my headlamp on him. His lamp trails off into the trees. Are those eyes? I look where he's looking and stare for a good while. Might just be dew on the leaves or a marker on the trees. Wouldn't be surprised if this road is used for motorcycle races. We stare a while longer. Neither of us can relax. Finally, I grab a shovel and start walking toward the little glowing beads. Neither of us were going to sleep without resolution. Duck guys. Go to bed. Joel announces with confidence. There's no predators in this area. There are. I've seen both bears and cougars in the area. Joel isn't from the area. Cal and I continue on. I cover about half the ground between me and the orbs and I pause. It's so dark and they are so far away I can't quite make out if they are moving slightly or if it's just the shadows cast from my headlamp. I throw a rock. I yell. Pause. Then they blink. Okay. Yep. It's an animal and it's not scaring with rocks. I say toward Cal, slowly walking backward. It clearly sees us. It's watching me. Cal agrees. Let's just watch it for a while. We finish setting up our tents, keeping a light on the creature at all times. Finally, it starts to move. The two little orbs raise a few inches off the ground and start strafing us, rocking ever so slightly back and forth as they start a wide circle skirting our campsite. A slight pause here and there, but they continue to close in even as we unleash a thunderstorm of rocks and yelling and quickly sidestep toward the truck. Joel. Whatever it is, it's moving our way. Keep a light on it. Keep a light on it. Joel yells and fumbles with his tent zipper. He's already taken his pants off and comes booking toward the truck, emanating his own light from his pasty white thighs. He gets inside and sits in the back. Cal and I are perched on either side of the truck, ready to jump inside so fast we are bound to knock heads over the gear shift. The creature is behind a bush about 20 feet from the truck at this point. The leaves are shifting slightly. It's still coming. Cal and I share a couple words of encouragement. Waiting. Waiting. And then the bushes part. When the claw sunk into Cal's neck he screamed and I dove over the cab. Just kidding. The bushes part and a ducking deer walks out and right up to the truck. Turns out people did camp here before and apparently they fed the ducking deer. Whatever survival instinct once was in this long-legged forest rodent was long gone. And we were 3 men and their Jamies crouching in a truck, hiding from it. Full disclosure, I've actually told the story a few other times. Edit. Oh wow. Thanks for the gold. Edit 2. Thanks y'all for the kind critique of my writing. It's a hobby, but you're encouraging me to do more. This cracked me up. Love how you tell the story. We have the same problem with the deer at my house. They're all fearless because the people who lived here before us fed them a lot. And the first year we were here there was one who would walk onto my back patio as soon as I opened the door if she was around. They're still abnormally docile and we've been here a few years. Do you feed them as well? Walked in on future mother-in-law while she was on the toilet taking a dump. She did attempt to address it shortly afterward, but I managed to hit it down and we have never spoken of it since. Because that's how we do things in Britain. Edit. I now see the typo. Duck it, I'm leaving it. Wow, what an excellent and relevant typo. Edit. Changed autocorrect to typo because I myself had a relevant typo. No hit.